Hello everyone, so today I'm going to be showing you how I make the gameplay post with the GIFs and stuff because I know quite a few of you are interested. I'm going to be going through like the entire process, so if you want to skip ahead to where I start like the color correction stuff, by all means. But first thing you want to do is you want to import your video into Photoshop. So how I do this is I do file import video frames to layers. So and then what would be a good one? Alright, let's do this one. And typically this screen is where you kind of decide what part of the clip you want to use. I almost always limit it to every other frame, just because the more frames you have, the bigger the file size and the more it's going to take your computer longer to load everything, so I just limit it to every two. If you have a shorter scene, you might not want to do that, but for this one. So for this, I was using reshade, and as you can tell, the depth of field was kind of messing up. So if I remember, I kind of adjusted it to, I think around here. And then I don't know if I trim from the front or not, but if you were going to trim from the front, make sure you drag this bar instead of this bar. This is just to view the frames. This is to actually trim it. I made that mistake once and it was annoying. So make sure you adjust the front. So okay, I think that should be okay. If you need to delete frames, it's possible later on. So press OK. It's going to take a bit to get all the frames. And then, for whatever reason, my Photoshop likes to reset my workspace whenever I import video frames. So, essentials. The key windows that you're going to need for this are layers, adjustments, and timeline. If you don't have those, go to window and make sure those are all clicked on. But first thing I'm going to do is going to resize to 540. I always do 540, that's the dashboard width, and you can go bigger, but then once again, yeah, the file size, Tumblr limits GIFs to 3 megabytes for some reason, even though I think for images it's 10. I don't know why. I don't know, but I always just do 540 because it looks crisp and it tones down the file size. So yeah, I'm gonna press OK. If you want to crop it, you could also crop it. I used to crop the little watermark because I use Fraps to take videos and screenshots in my game, but I use a border, so I don't typically crop that part out, so it doesn't really matter to me. But next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch the animation and make sure that's smooth. Sometimes with my computer, because it's not like the best, it'll kind of be a little bit choppy, so I'll have to delete frames so it looks smoother. So for instance, this one might actually be okay. But yeah, if you see there, it looked a little bit iffy at the end, which means the frame rate probably dropped. So yeah, like these two are the exact same, or these couple are the exact same. So I check to make sure there's no duplicates like that, because it makes the animation look choppy. So, Jesus. Okay, there we go. We got another. That's okay, and then watch it back. Okay, and then you're probably like, holy crap, why is it so fast? That's probably, since you limited it to every 2 frames, it looks faster. So all you're going to do is you're going to select all the frames so you can adjust the frame time. And you can do this by pressing select all frames, or you can press the first frame, hold shift, press the last frame, however you want to do it. And I typically adjust it to like 0.09, 0.07, and then I'll just watch it back to see. Oh gee, oh, I was like, what the heck? This is a little, yeah, so this is kind of too slow for me. It might just be because sometimes when you view it in Photoshop like this, it runs slower than it is, but I don't know, it's kind of just something you have to keep playing with. So 0.07, so that's a little bit better. It still looks a little bit weird. Oh, there, I saw a kind of weird jump. Yeah, see, there's a little bit of catching that I didn't see here. Honestly, this is really extra. You like don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I like to make sure that looks really smooth. And the more frames you have, the bigger the file size, so the more frames I can get rid of, I'm happy about. Let's see. Yep. Sorry, this is probably really boring, but this is how it is. I'm sure there's easier ways to do this. It's just how I've always done it. I think as I answered the question this morning, I used to be in like the anime Tumblr side, and I used to make like GIFs and stuff, so this part was like really crucial because in like animation sequences there's a lot of double frames or like extra frames that you don't necessarily need, so I would literally go like frame by frame and delete the ones that weren't like crucial to the overall GIF. So I think that should be okay. Let's see. Yeah, see, that's so much smoother. It's like the small little things that help. And then after this is where I start doing like all the color adjustment. And if you see here, sometimes I don't have to at all because the reshape preset I use has like really muted colors, so sometimes I don't have to mess with them, but typically, like, if you can see here, there's a lot of what do you call it? I don't know, pixelation. I have it on the diffusion settings. Let's see with pattern. Sometimes it looks better with pattern. It's not as like off-putting, and it also typically has a smaller file size. Yeah, like that took an entire megabyte off, but it's a little, I mean, it still looks fine, honestly, because when it's playing, it's not too bad, but what I'll do is this is when I'll mess with the colors. So I do like selective color, and this is where you kind of have to pick and choose what you want to stand out. So this, I obviously want the dog and Damien in the front to be the like focal point. So all this like green stuff in the back I don't really care about. So if you saw what I did, adjustments, selective color, and so you're gonna do green. Hopefully this works. You're gonna tone down the green a little bit. You see the difference? The less colors you have, the less what's the word, like pixelation you're gonna have. I don't know like the logistics behind it, I just know that's what works. And then the yellow, usually this messes with like skin tone. Yeah, you see. But we can, I don't really want to wash him out, so the red, that gives him a little bit of his color back, so we can do that. And then it makes his shirt stand out a little bit more with this white. Makes it brighter, gets rid of some of the detail so it's less fur. And then the blue as well, because we don't really care about the sky too much in this. Yeah, this is all just about messing with colors, taking out the colors you don't really need. And this is also where you can kind of, if you wanted something warmer, but you can honestly just do that by like doing like a photo filter and making the overall thing warmer or cooler. I think that's what I did with the Firefly gifts. I did like a red overlay on the whole thing. But yeah, because whatever you put up here is going to be applied to all the frames. Just make sure it's on the very top of the layers. So it's a very tedious process if you don't like enjoy it. So as you can see here, that actually didn't do much. If anything, it actually made it worse. That's awkward. See, it's all about just playing around and trying to figure out. So I'm going to probably have to tone down the red. I was hoping to make it stand out, and so let me put some of the yellow back up because I don't want to wash him out completely. And then maybe, oh, whoops, wrong way. Make the blacks a bit deeper. Honestly, it's just a guessing game. This is why I'm like, you want a tutorial from me? This isn't, because I barely know what I'm doing. Alright, and this is just the overall. You don't want to mess with this too much, because you, but let's see. And then, might want to take the vibrancy down a little bit. Okay, so now let's see what's going on. Okay, so this is a little bit better, but it's still not perfect, but honestly, it really just depends on how much you care. Like, I don't think this is too bad. This doesn't look exactly like the one I made previously, but it's something. But it's still way too big. So let's see if pattern is any different. Still, okay, so this is, I use the borders for two reasons. It's for things like this and to cover up the watermark. So since this seems to be kind of, I guess, a longer animation, I'm going to crop it because the smaller the picture is, the smaller the file size, obviously. And then what I'm also going to do is, because for whatever reason, if you have like a stagnant image on top of a GIF, it's going to take away some of the file size and also help with the quality, just because I guess, I don't know, it's less colors for the GIF to process. I honestly don't know. I'm clueless. I don't know why it works that way. So let's see. So yeah, that took off a decent chunk. And if I change it to pattern, takes a little bit. So honestly, I would probably continue to mess with this a little bit, but I'd be happy with this. You can, I'd rather have that pixelation than to get rid of the color in his skin, obviously, because that's not what we want. But yeah, you can continue to mess with the colors to get rid of even more of the pixelation, or if you wanted to, because the more grayscale something is, typically the crisper it's gonna look, just because there's less colors for it to process. Like you can see over here all the colors. I honestly don't know why it's like stuck at like 256 for uploading to the internet. That really sucks, but it is what it is. But yeah, that's basically how it is, and I just save it, and that's it. Hopefully this was helpful. Oh, here, let me, since I'm here, because I'm like, I might as well go over everything. If you wanted to add text to something, or an image to this, or whatever, so here, for an example, let's pretend, I know I didn't do this on the actual one, but let's say I wanted to add some text. I would just add like maybe a little white box here, and then maybe something red, and then whatever, and then and there you go. It's so simple. I just figured I'd show you just in case someone needed clarification on that. But yeah, as long as those frames are on top of everything, it'll show up like that on the timeline, and it should save like that. So yeah, that's basically it. If anyone else has any more questions, feel free to send me a message, but yeah.